CLG sticking together because they think they have what it takes. Who's right, who's wrong? We're about to find out here. We're into picks and bans.
Well, right off the bat, the Callista ban is bold by CLG. That could also, it could also be if they have a strategy of picking an AD carry in the first 3 and then using their second phase of bans to ban out 2 more AD carries, then they wouldn't want him to be able to fall back on Callista. So they're just getting rid of it right now because at least in this system generally, red side often bans Camille, LeBlanc, and Rengar, so blue side has much more ban flexibility, even though I think overall red side is favored in the pick ban.
And there it is. That Rengar goes out. Support Malzahar, a possibility. And it does look like it's getting locked in quite quick. Not even a thought there for CLG.
During the delays, we were talking about how Zix is really looking forward to this so he can put immense time pressures on his opponent. That was an instant lock-in of Malzahar, and now there's only 30 seconds to react for the very first pick on Team Liquid side. He did that because Zyra is banned, and many people think that the Malz is going to go right under that. And I think if Team Liquid doesn't pick Ashe in these 2 picks, CLG will pick it for sure.
That's a lot of lockdown if CLG gets that along with Malzahar. Kazik getting picked up for Rainover to start things off. We'll see what they have for number 2 here if it's your pick.
Exactly. We talked about making sure you're prioritizing early picks because essentially whatever you don't pick in the first 3, whatever role you don't pick, if there's a mismatch between the 2 teams, is going to be double banned out by the opponent. So interestingly, right, they see the Callista ban. Team Liquid wants to make sure they can't push Piglet to the 5th or 6th AD carry. And they also know that Ashe is the best AD with Malzahar, which is already picked by CLG. So the Ashe and Kha'Zix both make a lot of sense.
Favors them too. Rainover and Piglet get those first picks that they would like. Lee Sin being left up on this one. We actually saw it banned quite a bit in European LCS. We may see Xmithy lock that in for himself, and he does. Also, AD carry is going to be Varus. Bot lane.
And while these are strong picks, they're also somewhat conservative by CounterLogic Gaming because they're just matching roles from Team Liquid, and they have the hope of a soft counter pick, even though honestly these are just power picks in both positions. So jungle, AD, and most likely support locked in for CLG. If Team Liquid doesn't lock in a support, then you can maybe expect some support bans from CLG on the back end of these ban phases.
Very nice for Lorlo in the top lane. Let's see how they finish out phase 2.
So right now we move into the bans, so you can see those on the bottom left and the bottom right, phase 2 of the bans. Likely, although it could change, is we'll see multiple top lane bans from Team Liquid, since they already have the Maokai locked in. Fiora is one.
We'll make it nice. Darshan has quite a bit in his champion pool to play. Be a tough guy to pinch, but it's what they are directed at. Taking a little bit more time for these ones, seeing the composition, a lot of lockdown and fight once they get to that mid game and ultimates are ready to be fired here by Team Liquid. What's going to be able to push back here for CounterLogic Gaming. Still waiting for that mid laner. The ban for MF.
Yeah, that's a support ban as we expected. A lot of people think that, you know, MF was kind of the pick you do against Zyra because you can kill the plants so quickly. Well, MF can actually kill the Voidling spawn from Malzahar pretty quickly too. So MF actually works against both of those picks. So very unsurprising ban there.
The chase ban. All right.
So essentially, even though you can kind of look at the top lane as this Maokai, Nautilus, Poppy, tank fiesta, there are also the best carry picks, which is what Team Liquid has banned away. So clearly they want Maokai into a tank from CLG. Therefore, Team Liquid banned 2 of the biggest carry threats.
Seems like Echo will be that final for CounterLogic Gaming.
Yeah.
A little flex ban a bit.
Kind of. It's most likely a mid lane ban since the Assassin rework pushed it more towards an AP build. But as we mentioned about the Misfortune being the pick against Malzahar and Zyra, beyond that kind of set of supports, CLG decided that there wasn't that much of a difference between the other ones, and as you see, they kind of picked between Karma and Lulu. They end up going with Lulu.
A lot of safety here for their AD carry in a fight, getting that Lulu up for Matt, and we're going to see what the side of CounterLogic Gaming is. Stixxay stays true to his Warwick hover of all.
Of course.
We'll see what he goes to pick out. We'll see if he can get himself in a position with that Varus pickup to be the best AD carry here. Or Corki gets locked in as well. Seeing some Corki over in other leagues in the mid lane. Interesting.
So, true to his word, Huhi does not have a mid laner prioritized for him early. Picks another mid laner blind and a less popular one at that, trying to show big champion pool. Corki most likely going mid, even though you could technically see Varus and Corki swap. And I want to touch very quickly on the Lulu pick again by Team Liquid. It's another one of those champions that can kill the Voidlings faster than most supports, just thanks to picks.
Picks. Figure that Nautilus might be walking around in the top lane. They do lock that in for Darshan, so they get a little bit of beef onto the squad. It's pretty squishy otherwise, with Smithy flying around on Lee Sin. And it will be the lock-in of Cassiopeia for Golden Glue, something he's paid, one of his tried and true. So he doesn't get pushed too far, and Team Liquid actually gets a pretty great composition. I mean, same thing with CLG. The Corki are going to be an interesting pickup for them.
Yeah, I'm pleased with these drafts from the teams. I actually think that even though they were somewhat conservative, no one ended up getting heavily denied on their role.
Yeah.
So you got to see kind of the big tier of the junglers and AD carries get locked in early. You still see the top lane tanks. The only place that looks like it could have been stretched, even though it wasn't from the ban phase, was only because Huhi didn't want to play one of the meta mid laners like Syndra. Otherwise, we would have ended up seeing that. So biggest stretch would be the support Lulu, but it is something that has been, to my knowledge, quite popular in the scrims.
It's very true, and it's the little things as well. Huhi, likes to play the Corki. We've seen it before. It also now says if he wants to play that Syndra later, they'll be banning that Corki. They'll be banning the things he's trying to show us that he's been talking about all the time, that he can play outside the pool, that everyone thinks is so tiny. Coaches are going to shake, and they're going to make their way off stage as the players are getting ready to head on to the Rift. Chronologic Gaming versus Team Liquid. There are the matchups on your screen. Really looking at Rainover in the jungle here. We'll keep an eye on him versus Smithy. And also Piglet now back. We'll see how that synergizes with the rest of the team against Stixxay and Aframu, who Stixxay says he's ready to be the best.
Yeah, and actually it's kind of rare in these games, but I'm excited for every single positional matchup. You have the strength in the bottom lane from Stixxay and Aframu, hoping to solidify themselves as the best bottom lane.
Yep.
But Piglet used to kind of make his bread by being an amazing laner, and he's had a long time to train to try and get back with Met. Golden Glue versus Huhi with the support of Rainover. Smithy was an up-and-coming jungler. I'm just going to actually say everything for no reason, and then Lorlo and Darshan, two top laners looking to prove.
The chants begin. I'm sure the players are ready now. A bit of a pause there in the beginning after they've been waiting so long in the offseason to get in. Now they get their hands moving as they have been itching so much.
30 seconds until minions
Regular wardage here. Chronologic Gaming getting a little deep vision, making sure they are not getting routed by anything in the top lane here.
Interesting there by CLG, because both teams just ended up doing the spread formation early on in the game, but they kind of scouted each other, so CLG knew there wasn't 5 people waiting for them in the jungle, so they kind of moved up and almost feinted a ward, but they didn't actually place a ward. So for the most part, nothing was accomplished.
Minions have spawned.
It's all right. They think they placed it. Now when they go sweep, you waste your sweeper. Long con. That's what it's all about. You see Keystones. Hard CC up there for Courage of Colossus, Lorlo, and Darshan. Can't wait to see these guys get into the fights later. Really put up some damage from the top lane. Not damage. Put up some power. This game's scary.
Yeah, Maokai versus Nautilus, both guys can basically just going to try and shove each other in faster. Although, surprisingly, looking at some of the top lane picks globally, so we get some trading in the bottom lane. Looking at top lane picks globally, Maokai has doubled the picks of the next closest top laner. So Camille is obviously the most banned top laner, but it really feels like people are settling on Maokai as the king of the available tanks.
It feels so good. Vengeful Maelstrom, when you're able to use that and help the entire team, it's just really nice, not too mechanically difficult to play. Once you lock onto somebody, that guy's usually dead. You don't have to be too worried about going in. So you can see the love for that on the tree. We'll see how Lorlo does this game. Both corruption potions for them. Little love taps in the mid lane as Huki and Golden Glue go back and forth. Level 2s give them a bit of aggression, but they calm down right quick as Golden Glue has to clean up the CS here.
Shame to say it, I think that's the first time I've seen that Corki skin.
Yeah?
It's much different than the other ones. So that's
Just don't mistake it for Rumble when he flies by quick.
Yeah, that's the whole reason who he picked it. I can see that being a mistake.
Yeah.
Interesting right there. The Hawk Shot, one of the benefits of having Ashe. One of the many reasons that Ashe, as far as the trinity of AD carries, is being picked more than others. They scouted, Rainover knows he's there, and he's going to push him off.
When you click on the cone and fly back over. Should be all right. Really nice job. Just gets kind of the routing. Onyx Smithy knows, gets himself out. Doesn't really give himself too much there, but wasting Smithy's time.
Interesting. I was going to really applaud Team Liquid for the disruption there. Just they Hawk Shot and then they push Smithy out. But the fact that they didn't steal or do damage and then Rainover walks away, the time commitment is actually greater by Reignover than by xMiffy. So even though it was all the coordination was on the side of Team Liquid, xMiffy gained a little bit of time off that. Except for that ward, which will give a little bit more scouting long-term for Team Liquid.
That shield damage early. Lorlo not expecting it. He's going to be safe by his turret, has the minion wave coming out, but Darshan making sure he gets a little aggression here on the top side of the map as he sees Reignover going into the bot side of the tunnel.
Yeah, and even talking about the Maokai versus Nautilus matchup, Nautilus has a little bit more base damage in his kit than Maokai, but Maokai definitely looks like it outscales. Both junglers have very good gank assist.
Twisted advance. Reignover comes in. Darshan with the flash and gets himself to safety with the dredge line. Very nicely done. Plays it calm. I actually thought he was going to be in quite a bit of trouble there, even with the ward, but yeah, maybe it'll be a repeat here for Reignover.
When you have your flash up on Nautilus, it's extremely hard to die to a gank, as long as you've also saved your Q, just because you flash and then get the dredge line pull. So now that he doesn't have his flash, the next gank would be much more successful, and nice delay there by Lorlo.
Yeah.
Hopefully going to get that wave to crash into the turret. Or if they wanted to be really cheeky, try and throw another sapling to interrupt his recall. But it doesn't look like that's happening.
A little too much time, and it looks like he may not get the wave just there by the map. Reignover ping, if they're trying to catch him on the way back possibly here. That would be the timing for the wave to hit. But it's a TP back as we think. So no aggression here. Darshan comes back just a few minions behind, and he'll be able to pick those up. xMiffy itemizing already as he gets himself back out into the jungle. Reignover's been spending the time in his jungle, but this fight could be in xMiffy's favor.
Well, mainly because xMiffy is shopped already, so he's got the longsword on him.
He's actually in a really good spot. If Reignover can't get out of this, if he's actually spotted, he can just kind of get over to the left side. Aggression in the bot lane too. Alfred trying to go forward, knows he can save it. Oh, the code bop on both of them. And he can't get in fast enough. Reignover does make it out. They're still going toe-to-toe in the bot lane with slivers of health left. Alfred was going in low, and then Stixay said, I'll give it a try. TL comes out on top, and they're going to crash this into the turret.
Oh, so nice play there by Team Liquid to get that favorable trade. That's going to be about 5 or 6 minions completely denied from Stixay, not to mention the recall timing that oftentimes you like to be able to get a BF sword has to settle for the Warhammer. So good job on Piglet and Matt. That 2v2.
Steps back, waits for a potion real quick. 34 to 44. Some of those minions will be cleaned up, but it should allow Piglet to have a lead in that lane and possible 6 early for the team to go against Stixay and Afromu. Reignover now itemized a bit for himself. The control wards begin to come out here instantly as all of TL kind of backs at the same time to make their way out and set up that vision.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing a lot of this in the LCS. Control ward's quite cheap, and also it's one of the few ways you can actually get vision on the map. Late game, actually, I'm seeing some teams buy 2 and 3 control wards per person, even though you can only have one on the map at the same time, just so they can constantly replenish them, and they're almost using them like normal wards of days gone by, where they just throw them in the middle of a lane and just, oh, now I have vision there.
Well, it feels good. You get to defend it. It helps you out a little bit. Definitely like the feature of the ward.
Yeah, I do want to refocus very slightly on the bottom lane, though, because Piglet was able to get the BF sword, whereas Stixay sitting on the Warhammer. So if they're able to push them in, you could hopefully sustain some of that power. And also, talk very quickly about the AD carry trinity of Ashe, Varus, and Jhin. Ashe is considered a soft counter by many to the other ADs, mainly because she outranges them by ever so slightly. So Varus has 575 range, Ashe has 600. You've heard the auto-spacing meme that Piglet is so good at, but Piglet is actually very good at staying at exactly his max range and getting auto attacks in, which can oftentimes give you 2 attack for 1 trades, and Piglet's one of the best at that.
It's one of the first things I noticed when I saw Piglet's stream was how kind of smooth just his movement is.
Golden glue.
Come back.
You didn't rank kick. Reignover's like, you know what? This is your punishment.
That's a thing.
For not finishing the blue.
And no Ivern buffs for you either, so oh well. We'll see for the next ones. So Golden Glue shouldn't be too bad off. He may kind of take some trouble from Corki here in the mid lane, but that blue buff is wearing off anyway, so he should be all right.
Blue is nice for Cassiopeia, but once you have the tier and you're maxing the E, you're getting so many mana refunds when you're last hitting with your Twin Fang, because it costs 70 and refunds 70 if you last hit with it. So Golden Glue shouldn't have problems. It just gives him a little bit less flexibility to harass.
He gets the tier as well. He's like, don't worry. I'm just gonna stack this up. It would have been easier. Rain over. A little love to bottom lane. There's that 6 we were talking about. Is just for Piglet. Matt could be very close, but this is 5s on the other side, and that's enough for them to go for this. That's one flash. Alphamu went hard in the last play. They're right over the double here, and it's gonna be Piglet going down. Great job by Alphamu to go hard on that one, going 1 for 2. And now Huhi flying over the wall. He uses the package to get in range. The exhaust on Rainover, but is it enough? The shield from Matt, the wild growth as well. And here's the room from Golden Glue to clean up the fight. 4 members of CLG are down.
It all comes together for Team Liquid in that play. Rainover was the first person to the roam. They were the first to level 6 with the Ashe. They landed it, and even though Huhi technically roamed down a little bit before, it's because he was too early. He tried to go in for a 1v2. Everything goes Team Liquid's way. Wow, 4 kills and the Infernal Drake.
Insane for it to just pop off like that. It was just Rainover for a second, and then everybody joined that fight in the bot lane. Infernal over to TL, and we'll watch this again.
Yeah, I mean, this even stems from the early recall sticks they had to do where he lost a wave. He wasn't level 6. Rainover then comes in, has already evolved his Q. It's got an incredibly low cooldown when you're able to spam it like that. Kills him, and then Hui thinks he has exhaust, so he can take him. He's not worried about the evolved Q, but it's still a 2v1, so he doesn't have enough damage. Smithy as well flashed to try and save, but no one was calling out the fact that Golden Glue was on his way, because even if Smithy saves him there, he still dies at the end of the day, and it wouldn't be worth it for the extra assist gold. So really, a couple of big misplays by CLG to not just bail from that play. They were trying to salvage it, but a good play by Team Liquid, capitalizing on that Ashe level 6.
Lulu hitting 6 as well. Nicely saving Rainover, giving him that extra boost. It was 5 when they started that fight, so maybe CLG thought they could kind of re-engage. 4-1 after that mess in the bot lane, coming in favor of Team Liquid, and pretty nice gold lead. Top lane hasn't really had anything come of it, 87-91. They're very close to each other. So we'll have to see once they get to these 5v5s how they fare.
Absolutely, and it's very early on in the season, and I love to overreact at the beginning of season and make bold statements.
To your heart's content,
but Rainover looks really good on Kha'Zix, and he is, at least in this game, transitioning what he did last split. So some of the things he did in the jungle even, Kha'Zix is incredible at clearing single target jungle camps. Well, he actually got 2 Gromps killed in his first clear, and that was partially because of the invade he did. He checked the red buff, recognized when he saw Xmithy there that Xmithy wouldn't have been able to clear his Gromp to get there in time, warded the Krugs, saw he was at the Krugs, went all the way around, did the other Gromp. Like, he thinks so far ahead of the game, which is kind of what made him great. And then as long as he can still execute the champion, because the mechanics are his main criticism. But his mechanics look great when he jumped in there to get that final kill, and now he started off 2-0-2.
I think it's one thing overall I noticed yesterday in TSM C9. Tweeted about it right after the first game, is it was much more consistent, not aggression, but trying their strategies, continuing to go, not just 15 minutes of fight and we lost. Up to 30 minutes, they kept butting heads, and then it slowed down. Whereas seasons before, we'd see that slow down around 15, 10. You get very tempered because something bad happened, but teams definitely trying more, going a little bit harder. I like to see that.
Yeah, absolutely, and they actually have very slight CS advantages across every single lane, but mainly it was the fact that Piglet had that BF sword. He didn't pick up any kills, so he doesn't have a huge lead, but because they have the shove advantage really in the mid lane now, since he had to burn his exhaust and Golden Glue still had Ghost, they're able to take a big chunk out of this turret.
Still lagging a bit in mid lane. He kind of rotated back and forth. He's going to farm out this lane. They feel like they're safe in the bottom. Probably called that out with Xmithy being there. So as it looked like TL was getting a little aggressive, they do back off, but have great vision down on that bot side. CLG's been able to get a few wards in towards blue on TL's side, however. So it seems like a lot of focus towards the bot, and they're happy to let Lorlo and Darshan just kind of play in the top lane with the minions. Yeah,
and I'm interested to see how that bottom lane slight edge of being able to get the kills early manifests, because Matt picked up both of those kills and picked up a very early Boots of Mobility.
Yeah.
So Boots of Mobility, definitely not a laning item, it's a roaming item. So will they try and consistently visit that, leverage the teleport from the top lane and try and get first turret? Or are we going to see Matt roaming towards mid lane and trying to get Golden Glue ahead of Huhi?
Yeah. Be a difficult kill on Huhi. But it's definitely a possibility. Package is up for him. Nice try, just out of range. So So things do calm down for a quick moment as there are camps to be grabbed. Everybody's backing to itemize. Caulfield's now up for Piglet. It's actually been evened out in the terms of that damage, but the Berserker Greaves are finished on the side of Stixay at this point. Piglet likes to stay out and get his farm.
Very true. Looks like Piglet trying to get to Zealand Hurricane potentially before he goes for the boots, but oftentimes when these guys are just building up towards their items, both AD carries actually were most likely to do an Essence Reaver Hurricane build. It's just whatever's most efficient when you're going back to base to get as much power as possible.
Matt, I just realized Matt's 2-0 and 2 with Reignover. Fantastic synergy right there between the two. No wonder he has eyes so fast.
Jungle support synergy.
Yeah, there you go. And maybe, you know, he grabbed those mobility boots. He's so rich, he's going to be able to move around. And maybe they do kind of go back to Piglet hanging out, and he can get there in time. Seems like we'll be ready for a Drake in 1 minute. We'll get some wards in this area set up, but power in numbers as Liquid does it as a team.
Yeah, be really interested to see if any of the solo laners can hit level 11 before their opponent and then force a fight off of that. He knows the pink ward, he got his passive. Can they go more?
For the passive. Can't get on him just yet. Reignover wants to go in all the way. Nethergrass onto Reignover. He's Wild Growth, forced to get out. Matt's almost in a bad spot, but he was almost baiting in for Golden Glue there. A lot of thoughts going on here from Liquid as Smithy and the rest of the team wanted that as well. They went right in for when Reignover jumps.
Yeah, and then also Matt using the Wild Growth to interrupt the Nethergrass from Aphromoo. Kind of good plays on both sides right there. Could have gotten a kill either way if the teams didn't react properly. But that's a lot of ultimates burned before the Drake spawn. So bottom lane burns both ultimates on both sides. And that's going to diminish the explosiveness of a potential Drake fight.
Still got flashes up for members that need it. Aphromoo is just down for that engage. Might be a little harder for him to get in. But that fizzles out here as we have Dragon in 5. Waves are going to be pushed up, and Aphromoo doing what he can to make sure this is Counterlogic Gaming's now.
Yeah, so even though the early game fight went horribly wrong for CLG, it's all about the item thresholds and whether or not they can get it back. ADS items, as you mentioned, are pretty much the same. Support items are pretty much the same. Golden Glue does have an advantage with the Morellonomicon being completed, but CLG going for it nonetheless. Afro.
Second time walks through that brush. He's just really baiting in these fights right now. Piglet is forced to flash over. Remember, his heal was used in the previous fight, so he could be in a bad spot.
Darshan's by himself.
Darshan is pinched, and 5 members of the team goes for the crowd control. Courage of Colossus isn't enough, even with his W, but it does give the team the mountain they were actually setting up for the whole time. The first time we see the jungler toppers, Darshan goes down.
Yeah, that's about as close as a direct one-to-one sacrifice person for objective as you can get. Darshan teleported inside Team Liquid's jungle, and no one went to help him. They just all stayed on the Drake. They get it, but I feel like the gold cost is really high. They get a Mountain Drake that is beneficial when you're able to kill turrets. Now they go for Piglet.
Oh, Big Smithy, the cripple there is going to slow for a bit. Piglet's out of mana, so he can't really volley back.
Ultimate's up on Stixay down.
Chain of Corruption, it's gonna link. Matt's gonna get stuck too. Do they turn in focus? He tries to fire the Glitter Lance back.
Both,
he may have stayed for too long. Smithy's too low. Oh, he goes! He dies! Oh my gosh!
That play, Stixay was making sure he had no way of actually reaching Matt for damage. He had no mana for a Q, and he couldn't get an auto range. But he took turret aggro before Xmithy was willing to follow in, so that Xmithy didn't die to the turret. Nice play there by CLG, kind of making up for the turret that had fallen beforehand.
See, here it almost seems like, all right, you're going to go into the minions. It'll take a while, and Matt might get out.
And they know Piglet has no flash. That's why Stixay lands the chains on him. But it also stuns. It also gets the root on a Matt there. And notice how Stixay's out of mana. Stixay walks, gets turret range. The instant he gets turret range, Xmithy takes the resonating strike in. And then he holds it too, so Xmithy doesn't get the turret aggro to jump back on him. That was really nicely done.
That's a broman right there. That's teamwork.
Unfortunately, they're still down 4,000 gold. They still haven't got the first turret. Things are really in Team Liquid's favor, but you got to call out the big.
It's all right. They're playing on the mentality. Say, hey, if we can do that once, we'll chip away at them. We'll do it again. That was a pretty crazy moment. I don't think it's going to happen the same, but we see that CLG is ready to dive. Like I said, that consistent action. It should have seemed like they would have been tempered or measured in that engage. But full bore now to the mid lane. There's a bit of hovering on the left and right side. And it seems like Liquid knows that. They're like, we don't have enough vision of the rest of the CLG members. Let's also be careful. Little dance in the river in the top side by Lorlo and Darshan as they farm mid lane.
Yep. Rain over at level 11 now as well, so he's evolved his wings. Makes him a much more potent threat in turret dive situations because he can get back out and jump further. But yeah, CLG definitely on the back foot after losing their bottom lane turret and not having very good ward coverage in that side of their jungle either. They kind of abandon it and getting dictated to a little bit by Team Liquid.
Gunblade up, sword boots for Huhi. Exhaust on him as well, so he knows he is just going to be packaging in and kind of trying to crush these fights, blow somebody up. We've seen it a few times before. Level 12 for him. Same as Golden Glue. They have fared pretty evenly in the mid lane here. It's only that hit on Huhi when he went bottom lane and got a little overzealous.
Yeah, just a little bit. You have the package, you just want to fly in there. Interesting how he's gone with the Hextech Gunblade as well. The basically active on it is a substantial amount of damage that he's looking to kind of burst people with. Probably going Trinity Force afterwards, so that's the thing with the mid lane Corki. They just kind of stack as many on hits as possible since he's got damage from so many different sources. Still going to be able to pump out a huge amount of damage in team fights with that build.
This is a close one.
Top lane fight, tank fight, tank fight. And it's not even like there's something that has the illusion of being able to kill you, like a Trundle is like, maybe he'll steal your resistances and then you'll die.
Yep.
No, they just don't. They just don't do anything.
I was looking forward to something there, but I guess not. Zeal picked up by Piglet after his Essence Reaver. So yeah, we are actually evening out quite a bit here for the AD carries. There's a bit of a rough lane for Stixxay and CLG, but they have pulled through quite well. A little bit of help from McSmithy over time. And 20 minutes in here, they have basically been able to even the game up. The gold lead doesn't say very much. Rain over 203 though. See if he can still continue to make an impact on this game. He actually, whoop, good dodge. Almost got hit by the flights in the back. Actually, as we saw, it was one. We were going to say, does he go to Lorlo? And it hasn't. It has been Piglet and Matt, actually, in that bot lane.
Definitely. Really nice juke there by Stixxay as well. Really looks like the next Drake could be the main point of contention. The teleports have come back off of cooldown. You can expect them to try and use that. And Team Liquid actually hasn't gotten aggressive control wards in the Drake area. And as you can see, Huhi freely running through the river right here does speak to a certain level of map control CLG has, although you wouldn't think it with a 4,000 gold deficit. Even if they win a team fight, they probably still wouldn't be up in gold. They go!
The flash, Quicksilver's just going to point that out. Picked up by Golden Glue on his last back. We saw Huhi kind of roaming through the jungle, maybe being the one guy that gets caught out and can Velk away with his exhaust on, but they try for the under the turret fight. Come out empty-handed.
I mean, credit to Golden Glue for investing in the Quicksilver stash early. It's always a debate about whether or not it's worth it if it's just to support Malzahar. But it absolutely saves his life there. And Alphamu not checking the items of his opponent right there because he had that sitting in his inventory, like you said, on his last back, which was a couple minutes ago. So wastes his flash and his ultimate, although they did get double summoners from Golden Glue.
That would have been a very big opening. Those are the things we look at here. 20 minutes in the game that would have just let this go in CLG's favor until TL kind of put up the same fight. Piglet, again in the side lane. Not much has changed here. They're keeping this organized where he can continue to farm. He actually did not pick up those kills in the lane. He picked up the assists, so not that it hurts, it just doesn't help his game.
Yeah, they have the Infernal Drake against a Mountain. So Mountain Drake actually a little tankier than other Drakes. If CLG did want to try and fly in, they have a ward. He could try and ward jump to steal and then flash out.
It
looks like he's giving it up.
Just the left.
All right, but they're trying to use that time to get another bit on this mid lane turret. Team Liquid playing quite clean, honestly. Everything CLG tries to do, Team Liquid has a good answer for.
As they go mid here, that was Stixxay trying to take red. So the waves are easily cleared by Team Liquid before there's too much pressure. It looks like CLG is going to kind of put their foot down and say, let's grab one of these turrets. We need to knock something down on this map. TL's had one up on us for a while, and they're just able to roam too much. So maybe the pressure here will finally be enough. It's just under half health, but they can't get into range. Huhi trying to sneak in from the side. And the arrow for deterrent, and it works. They are not letting him get this turret.
Lorlo's here, though.
Oh, Lorlo with the TP, the deep wards continuing to be placed throughout the game. Reignover a little too deep on that one, gets himself killed, but can they trade now? A 2-for-1, yes they can. They grab Aframu, the flash is down from the Golden Glue engage, and he falls too.
Yeah, so it was all a coordinated play. The Ash Arrow was flying through as the teleport was coming in.
Right.
Even though the Ash Arrow didn't land, they decided to go for the initiation.
It was the zoning arrow.
Yep, and they just kind of put their strength into CLG, and CLG falls over because they had the big gold lead, and they just brute forced that team fight. Even though Reignover flew way forward into that Malzahar ultimate, you actually saw Matt flash forward to try and wild growth him, but I believe he got caught by silence. We'll watch this one more time.
Perfect.
Arrow goes wide, but as you can see, the teleport was already on its way, and Darshan not matching that teleport because he wanted to get early. They just blow up Huhi. Then watch this. Reignover jumps in. Matt flashes. I guess he might not have been silenced. He just didn't get the ultimate in time, but they killed 2 of them. Trying to give him a little bit of credit there. Say silenced, couldn't get the ultimate.
I got it.
It's a long range on wild growth too.
It actually is. It's very deceiving. It's one of those things you don't see her or Kale on the outside and the person is just saved. And then you pull your hair out. Recurve for Piglet. He is continuing. Hurricane's actually already there for Stick's sake. Even though he's been roaming with the team, he's been the majority grab of the CS when he gets to that mid lane and who he starts to do a little warding. He picks up blue. CLG, again, have to set something else up. Team Liquid's definitely in the lead, and Chronologic Gaming have actually been very good about trying something. They just have to figure out that mark and think of the 1, 2, 3 before doing it. What are those items? Where's the rest of the team? How much vision do we have?
Yeah, unfortunately though for CLG, Matt's Lulu has been pretty good so far, and especially when he hits level 11, that wild growth's going to stop a lot of the picks that CLG might be trying. They tried to pick on a Golden Glue. He already had a QSS. Was able to stop that there. You're probably not getting a pick on the 3-0 giant Maokai, who can only get bigger when supported by Lulu. So Team Liquid has a lot of control over this map.
Turret for turret across the map. Quick ghost out as Golden Glue slithers away from a bit of danger. Looks like they will finally be able to drop mid here. It's been opened up for Team Liquid for just a few minutes, so they haven't been able to grab too much. Now it gets a little harder to go in deeper and make sure you're safe. CLG, looks like they're going to recognize that and say, I'm just going to back up right now. They don't have too much vision on the rest of the team.
Yeah, and I know we talked about a lot. Oh, as they're going for another Ash Arrow. Lorlo's in.
Smithy can safeguard away quite quickly. They have to focus. They did. Quickly taking him down. He can't get anywhere. And they are just snap judgment on CLG, and it seems like they're a few seconds behind each time.
Exactly. They put the miasma down after the initiation from Lorlo, and he was sped up by the Lulu, so there's no way X-Mix was getting away from that. Now it's a Mountain Drake with the Cassiopeia onto this Baron. It's going down real fast.
Stretch line in. Darshan just wants to be a body. Throws it. Reignover still picks up Baron, and Liquid are looking great.
Yeah, and well organized as well, and I think that is a little bit of the Reignover factor when they're able to make these plays work. But I also have to give a shout out for Lorlo for his 269 CS 26 minutes into the game. 10 CS per minute is a number that is almost never approached by mid laners and ADs, let alone top laners. So Lorlo has been nearly just extremely good CS for the majority of the game, as well as still having effectiveness when he teleports in for these flanks. So really, he's a monster right here, and with this lead and how tanky he is before legitimate multipliers have been able to be built up on the other side, you could see Stixxay having to build a Last Whisper, but still doesn't have an Infinity Edge. Lorlo's going to be unkillable, and Team Liquid's going to look to take a huge lead here.
It's tough. He's going to be the one in your face, and you want to get to Piglet. You want to get to Golden Glue. You might find Reignover as well, but then they're going to get Wild Growth. CLG is almost running out of options here. The Triforce is picked up by Huhi. Maybe he can get a pop, but Piglet has not been out of position. He has been now joining the team much more, and they are ready to take down some more turrets. The Mountain and the Infernal giving them a little assist here. They take it down to about 75%.
Yeah, Corki and Varus quite good at clearing even Baron and powered minion waves, which is why you can see Lorlo isn't actually grouping with the team right now. He's trying to get some pressure going on the bottom side. Still though, at this point in the game, when you have as much armor as Lorlo does, you can actually brute force in for some turret dives. I'll be interested to see if Team Liquid actually decides to do that.
They could actually route him here. Rainover is going to take that left side to put pressure, pushing Alframu away a little bit. They're over the wall. If they can take Darshan down that fast, it's very scary for the rest of CounterLogic Gaming. The turret's falling quick as well. And Team Liquid knocking on the front doors. They approach the base under 30 minutes here on the first inhibitor turret.
Here we go. They have a couple minions that are able to save it.
Yeah, with the siege in the back, Baron is on. CLG has to watch this happen. Their waves on the other side are not pushing towards them, so they got a little bit of a breather there, but they have to watch this happen in the inhibitor with the strength that Team Liquid has amassed here.
Yeah, and Team Liquid just taking exactly what they can and not pushing for more.
Yeah.
They make that push. They see the Infernal Drake is up. They're just going to slide back and take that while CLG is still confined to their base.
Freight train.
Yeah, definitely a freight train over that wall.
7,000 gold in the bank. Liquid is able to now spend on everything they need. We're seeing some of these items come out now that Redemption's been actually finished for a while. Locket for Matt. He is items up on Alframu at this point. I almost say that across the board, that Seraph's is finished for Gold and Blue. He picks up another Needless. It is not that Needless. Elixir of Iron as well for Rainover. It's going to be big.
Very strong. A little surprised Golden Blue isn't going for Void Staff right now, but still going for that AP. QSS for Piglet as well. QSS is one of those nice luxury items you can build while you're ahead without it really costing you. Oftentimes, when you're in an even or you're behind, you almost can't afford to do it because you're trying to build up all your damage, but Team Liquid not having issues getting kills right now, so pretty easily able to itemize defensively.
All right, chat. What is CounterLogic Gaming's next move? Besides defense, a good defense, what can they look to get an opening?
Yeah, you'd want Xmithy to kick someone like Golden Glue or Piglet backwards because you can't QSS the kick. And then they would put him in a bad spot. But in doing so, you have to get through Miasma.
Yeah.
Matt can literally just polymorph you as soon as you try and fly in because there's no way of avoiding that. You could hope Lorlo dives too far, and after you can catch him in Nether Grasp and get some percent health damage going down. But beyond that, there's few options.
Yeah.
Hope Rainover shorts to jump over the wall.
Uh-oh.
That's one.
Oh, flat everything. They are taking this opportunity. We didn't expect that opening to be one of the openings.
Yeah. I was getting that next, actually, Riv. Let's have the Kazakhs who can jump across half the map, jump 2 feet, and fail to go over the wall. Then you can kill him. Let's see if CLG can get anything off this. It would be a 4v5 defense for Team Liquid.
You know you jinxed Rainover.
Ooh. Jinx is not
Oh! Darshan looking to just stop them from getting across. Whole team pop up. He gets a nice shield courage on that one. He may still go down, though. They say, you drop our jungler, we'll drop your top. And we can keep going. Lorlo's going to be in range. The twisted advance hits, and it's the flash for Alframu, which actually brings Lorlo into the team. Oh, he tries to split it. He's doing his best to Talia impersonation, and he does do it. The exhaust is down. He blows him up. This is what the build is for, and now he's on Matt. Lorlo, still a gigantic brick wall in front of Matt, will be able to set up the defense and has enough to lock down Huhi. Super minions on the base, and Matt is going to do a bit of damage. Lorlo over to the Nexus to make sure the next Nexus turret goes down, and Liquid can run CLG around the map right now with the lead they have and even losing members.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they keep Huhi away, it's still 15 seconds on the next respawn.
Oh, he comes in! Can't get him. A little bit of a retribution kill. Lorlo
finish it.
Is beating
Darshan
away at this
up.
Nexus. Darshan, oh, this is not going to do it. He's just going to hit him with the anchor. Lorlo is swinging away. Here's Alframu. They're going to be able to lock him down a bit.
He's got it.
Can't silence auto attacks, though, Chad.
No way.
You can't silence auto attacks. They cut him down. Shut down. Stixate gets the kill. That was a tense moment. My palms are sweaty.
Yeah, the most exciting top lane battle we've had when instead of trying to kill each other, they try and kill the Nexus. That's the power creep for that engagement. But really, a bunch of chaos goes on here. It's super interesting because Huhi was in base trying to clear supers, which is why Team Liquid felt confident in a 4v4, despite Rainover being dead. They catch Darshan in the miasma as well. Lorlo continues the chase because he knows no one wants to spend the time to kill him, so he runs all the way through.
That unfortunate flash.
Those flashes, but right after that, he gets the package in, kind of cutting off the fight. Meanwhile, the Voidlings from Alframu's Malzahar actually do a bunch of damage.
Yeah, they were angry.
Gets the final rocket to come in, and then at this point, we saw what happened here. They chased him down, and
a great fight.
Well, they couldn't finish the game.
Great fight by both teams, initiating, figuring out how to get the lead in it. CLG looked really good in the beginning of that one, and somehow the power of Liquid right now throughout this game is just able to carry them through the fights. And Lorlo, the giant sequoia tree running around the map right now. 8,000 now as it just ticks up for TL. They're not really worried about that lead that they have. Logic Gaming knows it needs to be another one of those fights, but they need to be the last man or team standing.
Yeah, I mean, they need to get lucky. Darshan does not want to be here.
Oh. Flash, he sees the team is there. The anxiousness, he was flashing away when he could have been going in. The team is there to support him, and they do continue. 52 seconds now on these timers. Rainover's got a while. He's been going down very quick, but we see that Liquid can pull these fights back still. 5 strong. CLG push up mid lane now. Just about 5 minutes ago, TL was all over their base. The minions still are, but Logic Gaming is giving themselves some breathing room here.
I think CLG actually has to send someone back for that wave of minions, otherwise it's going to re-kill the inhibitor.
Point.
There's a super there, so it would actually just end the game if they send 0 people back.
It's the one thing that's really hurting them is they have to respect that little opening TL gave themselves.
They're going for it.
They're going to force it. They lose an inhibitor, they get Baron, they'll be good.
They have a Mountain Drake, they know Rainover can't smite it, so they want to finish Baron and then fight. They have to finish it fast.
Mass Voidlings on the Baron. Nobody else can get to it. And Smitty's doing it. He smites it down. They're going to have Baron. Makes it harder for Liquid to push in, but now can they drop Liquid? Lorlo on the top side, crushing everybody, trying to peel the team off. That's going to be 4 now down for CLG. Baron will not matter as it will not be on a member. And Golden Glue is headed for the win.
Yeah, I mean, Golden Glue's going to go help out, but those minions have gotten a bit of a head start. That Nexus is going down, Riv.
I think he'll get 1 snake on it.
Get him, Golden Glue!
1 snake! Oh, he misses the extra gold. The minions get it, they bank it, and Team Liquid with a very clean game 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you couldn't ask for a much better start from Team Liquid. We talked about the question marks you have with Lorlo and Golden Glue having the new jungler and Rainover, and it's a good start for them for sure. Lorlo 7-1-6 on the Maokai, his only death being while he tries to solo kill the Nexus. And then Golden Glue, not giving him credit for that Nexus kill, 5-1-6. So solid performances all around there by Team Liquid.
A very, very excited Piglet. You saw him walking off stage there, ear to ear, grinning. And for them to come out that strong, we asked a lot of questions. We'll have to see if it still goes. We've seen Team Liquid do very good, and they say, hey, temper your expectations. We know that was a good week for us, but it's actually hard to perform all that way all the time.
Exactly, and there were even little scary moments towards the end of that game where Rainover just seemed to start dying randomly, and before they ended the game, I was going to be like, I remember a game last year where CLG had a 10,000 gold deficit and came back to win, but different Team Liquid, different year, they closed the game.
Absolutely, game 1 going to Liquid, and for a deeper dive into that Team Liquid victory, let's hand it over to the analyst desk.